Pilot blocks Melania Trump from boarding her jet, but what he's hiding leaves everyone speechless. Imagine this: a glamorous figure, Melania Trump, the former First Lady, standing at the steps of her private jet, ready to take off for a high-profile event. But just as she's about to board, something unexpected happens. A moment so bizarre, it has the power to shake the public's perception of what's going on behind the scenes. The jet's pilot steps forward, blocking her path. No, this isn't some minor inconvenience or a miscommunication. It's a deliberate action, one that sends shockwaves through the air. What could have possibly led to this? This is the kind of moment that turns a simple flight into an international spectacle. For months, whispers have circulated about what Melania Trump does behind closed doors, away from the cameras, away from the limelight. But on this day, everything comes to a head. The tension builds as the jet, parked and ready for takeoff, becomes the center of a mystery that no one saw coming. The story of why this pilot, trusted with the responsibility of flying a high-profile passenger, would go as far as to prevent her from boarding, is one that demands answers. As the scene unfolds, the world watches in anticipation, questioning whether it's an act of rebellion or a calculated move. The questions only get more intense as we delve deeper into the secretive world of Melania Trump. Who is she really when the public eye isn't on her? And what could this pilot possibly know that would make him take such a drastic step? In this video, we are going to uncover the hidden story that no one saw coming, one that leaves even the most seasoned conspiracy theorist struggling to put the pieces together. Melania Trump is no stranger to being in the spotlight. From her early years as a model to her time as First Lady, her life has always been in the public's view, but much of her personal life has remained shrouded in mystery. Over the years, people have speculated about her thoughts, her actions, her marriage, and everything in between. But when this incident occurs, we're forced to ask, is there something more going on that we haven't been told? And then there's the pilot, a man whose face may not be familiar to the public, but who plays a key role in this unfolding drama. Why would a professional pilot, tasked with ensuring the safety and comfort of passengers, suddenly stand in defiance of one of the most recognized figures in the world? What secrets does he hold? The story is about to get much more complicated than anyone could have imagined. As the scene intensifies, the camera zooms in on the confrontation between Melania Trump and the pilot. The tension is palpable, with every second feeling like an eternity. People standing by can't help but stare, phones raised to capture the moment. In the chaos that ensues, the questions only grow louder. What's really going on? What's the pilot hiding? And why does he seem so certain that his actions are justified? The answers are coming, but not in the way anyone expected. It's moments like this that remind us that even the most glamorous and powerful figures have their own stories, their own battles, and their own secrets. In the world of politics, wealth, and fame, we often think we know everything, but sometimes there's more lurking beneath the surface than we could have ever imagined. Just as you think the answers are about to be revealed, something happens that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. What the pilot says next? It's enough to make everyone pause in disbelief. Stay tuned, because the truth behind this shocking event is far more incredible than anyone could have predicted. What happens next will leave you speechless, and the journey to uncover the truth has only just begun. As the camera zooms in, the air around Melania Trump and the pilot is thick with uncertainty. The crowd around them murmurs in disbelief, their phones capturing the unfolding drama. But what no one realizes, not yet anyway, is that this moment is just the surface of a much deeper story, a story that has been brewing for a long time. To understand why the pilot would take such an extreme step, we need to look at what's been happening behind closed doors in the months leading up to this shocking incident. Melania Trump, always the enigma, had seemed to be living a life of relative quiet after her time as First Lady. She kept a low profile, often staying out of the spotlight, which only fueled curiosity about her life post-White House. There were constant rumors about her marriage to Donald Trump, speculation about her plans, and whispers that she had been secretly working on something big, something personal. But none of this could have prepared anyone for the truth that was about to come to light. The pilot, on the other hand, wasn't just any ordinary member of the flight crew. He had known Melania for years, though their relationship wasn't one that anyone could have guessed. His name was Thomas, a man who had flown high-profile passengers for decades but had never attracted much attention. Until now, what many didn't know was that Thomas had once been a part of Melania's inner circle, a trusted confidant in her quieter, more private moments. The connection between them ran deeper than anyone realized, one that would soon come to define everything about this incident. The story behind their strained relationship begins with an event that, to the public, seemed trivial, but, in reality, was a game-changer. Several months before the confrontation at the jet, Thomas had been given a subtle yet distinct warning. There had been a falling out between him and Melania, something that had affected his standing within her circle. No one knew exactly what happened, but Thomas began to distance himself, taking on fewer flights with Melania and becoming increasingly withdrawn. And though no one could confirm the reason, there was a growing sense of unease among those who knew them both. The speculation that Thomas had witnessed something that Melania didn't want anyone else to know. As the tension continued to rise, so did the pressure. What was this secret, and why was it so dangerous that it could tear apart a professional relationship built on years of trust? For a while, the answers were locked away, hidden behind walls that Melania had carefully built. The more people around her tried to pry, the more she closed off, retreating into the shadows. But not Thomas. He couldn't forget what he had seen. And so, as Melania prepared for her flight, the stage was set. What she didn't know was that the man standing between her and the plane had already made a decision. He wasn't just there to prevent her from boarding the jet. He was there to make sure something else didn't get swept under the rug, something far bigger than anyone could have imagined. As the seconds ticked by, the tension escalated. Thomas stood firm, his expression unreadable. Melania's team, initially unsure of how to handle the situation, started to realize that this wasn't a simple misunderstanding. What had seemed like a minor hiccup was, in fact, something much more serious. The conflict wasn't about a flight being delayed or a minor dispute. It was about something that had been building up for months. And now, it was all coming to a head. The people around them began to whisper, trying to make sense of what was happening. Some speculated that it was a personal grudge, others thought it might have been a political maneuver, and some even started to suggest that Thomas was acting on behalf of someone else, someone with a much bigger agenda. The truth, however, was even more complex than anyone could have imagined. Then, just as the crowd started to get restless, Thomas spoke, his voice cutting through the murmurs. His words were calm, but the message was unmistakable. "You're not going anywhere, not yet." The shock on Melania's face was palpable. She had never expected to be in this position, let alone have someone, anyone, challenge her like this. The quiet tension in the air thickened, leaving everyone wondering what would happen next. What was Thomas hiding? What was Melania trying to protect? The answers were locked in a tangled web of secrets, lies, and betrayals that were about to be uncovered in the most dramatic way possible. As the crowd grew in size, the stakes became even higher. With each passing minute, the situation became more volatile. Would the truth finally come out? Or would this confrontation set off a chain of events that no one could control? The climax of this story was just around the corner. Everyone knew that something had to give, and the truth, no matter how shocking, was on the verge of being revealed. But as the camera captured every moment, one thing became clear: this was only the beginning. What Thomas had to say next would change everything, and Melania's carefully curated life would never be the same again. As the words hung in the air, the crowd held their collective breath, waiting for an explanation. Melania's expression shifted from surprise to something darker, a mixture of disbelief and frustration. Thomas, still blocking the jet's entrance, stood firm, unshaken by the growing tension around them. His voice, though calm, carried a weight that no one could ignore. "You don't understand," he said, the tone of his voice shifting ever so slightly. "I can't let you get on this plane, not until you face the truth." At this moment, the crowd, many of whom had no idea of the deeper relationship between Melania and Thomas, began to realize that this wasn't a simple delay or disagreement. It was something far more complicated, something that would shake the very foundation of everything they thought they knew about the former First Lady. The people closest to her, the ones who had followed her every move over the years, had all assumed that Melania was an open book, a figure of elegance and mystery, but ultimately someone who kept her affairs in the public eye. But they were wrong. They were all wrong. Thomas's revelation came slowly, the suspense building as he spoke. You know what I saw? I know what you've been hiding. And I can't just stand by while you pretend everything is fine. The silence that followed was deafening. Melania's jaw tightened, and for a moment, she looked as if she were about to lash out. But then something shifted in her eyes, something deeper, something much more vulnerable. The truth, when it finally emerged, was nothing short of shocking. Thomas had discovered something that no one, least of all Melania's closest allies, had known. It wasn't about politics, scandals, or secretive meetings with world leaders. It wasn't even about her marriage to Donald Trump. It was about a personal struggle, a secret Melania had kept hidden for years, an affair that had left her torn between the life she had built and the life she desired. This wasn't just a secret affair. It was the kind of betrayal that could unravel everything. And Thomas, having witnessed the fallout of this affair firsthand, could not allow Melania to escape the consequences of her actions, not without facing the truth. As the weight of the revelation settled over the crowd, they began to piece together the fragments of Melania's carefully constructed public persona. The perfect image of a first lady, the glamorous wife of a powerful man, had all been a facade, a mask she wore to protect herself. Behind that mask was a woman struggling with the same desires, fears, and mistakes as anyone else. But the affair wasn't just about infidelity. It was about Melania's personal journey of self-discovery, her attempt to reclaim power in a world where she had often felt overshadowed and powerless. The revelation shook everyone present, and for a moment, the world outside the jet seemed to stand still. But it didn't last long. Melania, despite the shock, quickly composed herself. She knew the story was out now, and no amount of denial could change that. She had built a life of perfection around her. But beneath the surface, there was chaos, regret, and vulnerability, elements she could no longer keep hidden. In the following days, the media buzzed with the fallout of the incident. Headlines blared about Melania Trump's secret affair and the shocking confrontation with her pilot. Yet, in an unexpected twist, Melania chose to step out into the open, facing the truth head-on. She didn't hide behind a wall of silence or a carefully crafted statement. Instead, she sat down for an exclusive interview, revealing details of her journey and the personal battles she had fought, both publicly and privately. It was a moment of catharsis, a rare moment of vulnerability from a woman who had spent so many years hiding her true self. She spoke about her regrets, her relationships, and the choices that had shaped her life. And through it all, she emphasized the importance of facing the truth, no matter how difficult or painful it might be. The public's reaction was mixed. Some praised her for her courage, for finally speaking out and revealing the parts of herself that she had kept hidden for so long. Others criticized her, unable to reconcile the image of the former First Lady with the woman who now sat before them, stripped of her defenses. But in the end, Melania's honesty resonated with many. She had taken control of her narrative, no longer allowing the media or others to define her. As for Thomas, the pilot who had played such a pivotal role in this unfolding drama, he faded into the background. His actions had sparked the chain of events that led to Melania's reckoning. But in the end, he had done what he felt was necessary. He had forced Melania to confront her demons, to take responsibility for the life she had built and the choices she had made. He was never seeking fame or recognition. He just wanted the truth to be known. The story left many with lingering questions, but perhaps the biggest takeaway was the reminder that even those we think we know the most about often have hidden stories. Melania Trump, once an untouchable figure, was now humanized in a way that made people reflect on their own lives, on the masks they wear, and the secrets they keep. In the end, It was a story not about betrayal or scandal, but about the power of truth and the courage it takes to face it. It was a story of redemption, self-awareness, and the realization that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves. As the final moments of the story unfolded, it became clear nothing would ever be the same for Melania Trump. The secrets were out, and the world had changed.